most of Sarawakian home buyers are first home buyers, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people come to our office, collect the keys, usually with their kids. And the sort of the combination of trepidation and excitement, and I guess the nicest thing is the sort of pride. You'll see the mum and dad have pride that this is our first house. The importance of that event is to them makes it all the more critical for us to take it seriously. On site, my philosophy is every house is the same. We pay the same attention to a house, whether it's a single-story terrace house or a three-story semi-D. Every man's house is his castle. So we don't make exceptions. We're constrained by budgets, but the attention that we give to each house is the same, regardless of the category. So yeah, it's satisfying. It's a feel-good factor to delivering a house to a first-time house buyer. Everything's considered, and my staff sometimes go nuts. But then when they see the outcome, I think they secretly might share some joy. Sometimes they're not so secretly share some joy, or pride in what we delivered. Yeah.
So working with Ravi, he emphasizes a lot on constant improvement. So every time when we do things a certain way, he will first ask us to evaluate how can we do this best, and then after that he will ask how can we do this better. So from there we are not just stuck in one way of doing things, and we are always encouraged to reflect on the way we do things.
Throughout this journey, we continually ask ourselves how can we do best, how can we do better. Talking about Mr. Ravi, he always encouraged me to consider all aspects, especially if you're building a house, you need to think about how and what the house owner want, and from there I can start to think what is the best that I can suggest to get the best result.
The how can we do this better comes from me, and it's just about questioning the norms. There's two reasons for that. One is the desire to do better. The other is we live in an environment in Sarawak and Malaysia where labor is cheap. So this over-reliance on a way of doing things has become tiresome and antiquated. You can't do things relying on cheap labor. So there's an economic drive to it for myself, which is we need to be ahead of the curve. So if we're constantly relying on cheap labor to do things, and that's whether it's cheap labor in a cafe, or cheap labor in an office, or cheap labor on the site. But also if you don't keep questioning that, the Japanese theory of continuous improvement, it's basically a layman's person of saying, how do we continuously improve? So when we've done something, we shouldn't just rest on our laurels and say, yay, well done, we're just the same as everybody else. We ask, how can we do this better? I was more or less persuaded to come home from overseas by my dad in '97. Came back to the Asian financial crisis, which was fantastic. But my father's always been interested in property development. He is an economist by training, and he's always, even when we were younger, says, housing is engine of growth, and he uses that phrase a lot. So it seems a noble sort of profession to be in, and as a result, I guess my interest was piqued then.
In the construction of houses, you would need a lot of materials, You need sand, you need stone, you need steel bars. You have a multiplier effect on the industry. The housing industry is not just the house, it's the one before that, That's on the construction side. The construction side is already have got multiplier to grow the industry into more than just the house itself, okay? And then when you complete the house, before you move in, all the furnishing in the house, this create business again, for many other things. This is what is meant by engine of growth, it goes on and on and on. Housing is one commodity that will always increase in demand. So it's a real engine of growth. If we can develop that and make the complete value change of a house, is much bigger than I think any other industry. You actually stimulate the economy and initiate it and stimulate it and make it continue to grow. It affects other industries as well.
My father's always been, I guess, the beacon, if you like, for trying to achieve and do good things. So if anyone believes the long game is him, he's going to live till 170. That's his firm belief, and he probably will. So that the long game belief has come with him. And I think the most important message is from him is that don't do things for the immediate moment, and do things with good intent, and the results will always come out better than otherwise. I think if you want to do good stuff for the long term, it's got to be more about maximize the value of the property for the long term. Don't maximize the site every single time. I think that's a mistake, especially in big developers. If we got the land, play the long game. Don't play the short game. That's what baffles me. Yeah, I always play the long game. Yeah, everything I do is long game because short game, you take shortcuts. Whereas play the long game, you're thinking long term. You want to be sustainable. It's a buzzword now. But if you play the long game, then you have to act sustainably. You have to build a company which will last long. You want your staff to stay with you. You want to have a good reputation. So that's what sustainability as companies are. You got to play the long game. From the heart, when we build stuff, it's satisfying. But actually what's really satisfying is seeing the team, the people as this person grow step by step and now become competent project managers, competent people within the organization, competent construction supervisors, and seeing how we as a team can pull something together that we couldn't do 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And us achieving that and saying, I think we did good work. That's what's satisfying. So I guess I get repeated every time we do something new or different, and we do it as that same core team. That's the satisfaction. I feel proud when I see that when we achieve it together.